Hello everyone, welcome back to my orchid and plant life. So today we are doing a care collab of the Haraella Retrocalla. I've been practicing along with cloud forest vines, orchids and more. Got plants and other things, so be sure to go check out their videos today once you get done with this, or if you've already watched their video, I hope you left them a comment. So if you do end up enjoying this, go ahead and leave me a comment down below and hit that like button if you don't mind. But let me try this one more time. Haraella Retrocalla is also known as a Taiwan fragrant orchid, also the rear facing lip spur Haraella. I'm not sure why, but it does, the lip spur does kind of bend back a little bit. We'll look at the blooms here in just a moment. This is an epiphytic orchid found in Taiwan. It is at an elevation of about 1,000 to 2,200 meters, which is approximately 3,280 to 7,217 feet, give or take. It is considered a good beginner orchid because it's forgiveness, and I can definitely attest to that. I'll go into what I've done in my care here in just a minute, but let's go on what the scrolls say and what the common recommendations are. So the preferred environment is, it says it prefers to be mounted, and they say, as Roger from Roger's Orchid likes to say, they prefer about 70% humidity. And if you can't provide that, then they do suggest putting it in a pot. Lighting. So they say that you can grow this in low to medium light, and no direct light, but you know, a lot of our orchids don't prefer direct light anyway. I know some Vandas and Cattleyas can take that, but obviously you ease them in, but they don't like direct light, especially sunlight, because what happens is you get some brown edging on the leaves, burnt marks, or they fall off, or you know, it could possibly die. Temperature wise, they prefer to stay around 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is approximately 21 to 28 Celsius, my best math. Of course, it's been a while since I've had to do that. As far as daytime temperatures, and then for nighttime temperatures, they do prefer 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 13 to 16 degrees Celsius. If you grow it outside, it is recommended to bring it inside if the temperatures are going to drop below 55 degrees Fahrenheit or 13 degrees Celsius, because it can do either cold damage or just kill the plant altogether. Watering. So it prefers to stay moist. It does not like to dry out at all. I was reading that during the winter months, you do want to slow down on the water. You do not want the media to dry out, but you do want to slow down on the water. And I'm thinking that probably is more to do with environment, maybe. I think this winter, maybe I'll try it just to see if it does anything for me next year. Fertilizing. So it does say that it prefers a regular fertilizing. Obviously, if it's not growing, we're not going to fertilize it. It doesn't really say that in there. It just says regular fertilizing. So if your orchid is not growing, whether it's this orchid or any other orchid or any plant really, if they're not growing, there's no point in putting fertilizer in there because they're not using it. And then what happens is it just sits there, accumulates and burns. Blooms and flowers. They say that a properly cared for, healthy Haraella Retrocalla will bloom continuously pretty much all year if it is healthy and given the proper care. So my goal now that I've gotten this baby to rebloom is to keep her blooming. So let's just talk about this. I got this in September of 2020. I ordered it off of Amazon. It did come in a mount, and it was just a little bitty little mount with just some moss on there. I'll post the video for when I did the unmounting and put her in this pot so you can kind of see what she came on. I struggled to keep the mount moist, and so she lost a lot of leaves and was just kind of going downhill, and it was a lot of trouble to keep her hydrated. So I decided to put her in this little tiny pot here, which was the smallest pot I had at the time. And I do keep her in this decorative pot that's got some pebbles at the bottom, and I do keep water at the bottom to kind of help with added humidity. But what she is in is a mixture of small fir bark, a lot of moss, perlite, and charcoal. So far, everything has gone well. I don't see any roots on the outside, but I did take her out a few weeks ago before she started doing the spiking, and just to kind of check on the roots, because as you can see, she's got a lot of roots that you can see, but I wanted to make sure there were roots in the pot as well, and there are. They're just all in the center right now. And she has lost a couple of the older leaves, but she's still growing. And this spike, let me move this tag real quick. This is the first bloom that opened, and look how delicate that is. Oh my goodness. Let me pick her up a little bit with this so we can kind of see her. There we go. Do you see that lip? Now, I have seen pictures where the lip actually has striping, that mahogany kind of purple striping, but I love the way that now that she's opened, it's kind of created this fan, and then the lip, and then the frill. Let's see if we can see the frill. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying not to touch her because I'm afraid I'm gonna break her, but look at the frill. Look at that. That is so cute. So very cute. And then yesterday she opened up this one here. So this is kind of what it looks like when they first open. See how she's still kind of squished over, whereas this one here, the top, the sepals and the petals are nice and fanned out, then with the lip sitting there. And each one of them, if you can kind of see, let's see if I can get it in focus a little bit better, has, let me use my tag again. This tag is kind of coming out handy, but it has a little spike coming off here, and then on this one she has one coming off right there. So I'm expecting some more blooms. Now the key is to continue to give her the correct care. Now I do grow in my living room. She does sit under a grow light, and she has sat under that grow light since being repotted into this. It's probably between Oncidium and Cattleya light. A little brighter than Phalaenopsis light, if you guys know what that is. I do keep this moist at all times, and I do it by the weight of the pot. I've had her, like I said, in this pot now since September, so I've kind of figured out by the weight of the pot if she needs water or not. Before that, I would stick a bamboo skewer kind of angled into the center to see, because even though if the outside looks dry, that doesn't mean that the center is dry, especially when you have a slotted pot like this. And then as far as fertilizing, I fertilize her with a very weak fertilizer every second watering. And then she gets a flush on the waterings in between. I don't fertilize her regularly as far as every watering. I do alternate between a very weak dilution of the MSU fertilizer. I can't tell you the ppms or TDS because I'm still kind of figuring all that out, and I haven't really done it religiously, but I do know it is, I water all the orchids and then I take some of that water and then I add more water to it, so it's a very weak watering. And yes, I know you shouldn't share water, but I buy my water, it's distilled water, and that's what I water this one with. Gets a little expensive if I dump out the water after each orchid, so I do share my water. I don't do the whole bucket at one time and use it up. I add as I go along. Other than that, there's not much else I can tell you about this beauty, except for it is supposed to have kind of a citrusy smell, and so far I have not smelt it. Now this is not her first bloom. She did arrive with a spike that had a bud on it that was getting ready to open that blasted, so I'm wondering if maybe because this is her first full bloom, maybe I'm not getting the scent. I'll just have to keep an eye out or a nose out to see if I get that scent. As of right now, she doesn't have one, and I don't know if it's just at particular times of the day. I have tried to smell her throughout the weekend at different times of the day, especially now that this one is fully open, but she's only been fully open for about 2-3 days maybe, so maybe it just takes a little bit. I'll keep watching it, and if I do get a smell before this video is posted, I will leave it down below and let you know if there was a smell. So if you don't see that, still don't got a smell. All right, guys, well, go check out Cloud Forest Vibes, Orchids and More. We've got plants and other things, care, tips and culture on the Haraella Retrocalla. And I think I said the first one wrong, but it is kind of a hard word to say. And if you want this orchid, again, I did get it off of Amazon. It was like 12 bucks. And I know most of the time you're like, but it is actually it actually came as a very, very healthy looking plant. And as they say, it is a good beginner plant for kind of stepping out of a comfort zone. It is a miniature, so if you don't have a lot of space, this is perfect for you. I think you could actually grow this on a windowsill as long as it's not going to get direct sunlight, especially that afternoon light. And if you have like a sheer curtain or something kind of blocking that direct sunlight, I think it would probably do well on a windowsill. It does grow similar to a vanda where it creates fans, and I have seen some where they're very moundy looking and just kind of full, and I'm excited to see that. So I am going to go check out Cloud Forest Vibes, Got Plants and Other Things Care Collab, and see if I can pick up any tips to get my baby girl to keep blooming and get bigger. All right, till the next one, I hope you guys have a great day.